Hi everybody. Just going to show the room real quick so you know that there's not any notes. Okay, so today I'm going to be doing IV on the banana because the banana's been in labor for a long time. She's tired and she's been vomiting a lot. So I would first have a conversation with the client, let them know what I'm thinking and why, and just make sure that I get their consent. I will be talking to them about how, like, hey banana, I'm worried that you are getting dehydrated because you've been throwing up a lot. It would be a really big bummer to have to transport in labor because you're tired and dehydrated. Exhaustion, is a big thing that we worry about in labor. So if you wanted to go ahead and get an IV going, it would probably be the easiest way to get you hydrated. I've really seen it turn around labors before. So you'd have that conversation with the client, and then you would go ahead and get your supplies ready. So for IV setting, what you would start with is the bag. You want to make sure that the IVs aren't out of date, that like this one is. You would want to make sure that the liquid isn't cloudy and that there's no damage to the bag itself. So first of all, you turn it upside down and you remove the cap. You go ahead and you take the tubing and you put it into the bag itself, and just make sure that your tubing is closed and clamped down. So then you go ahead and turn it over and you squeeze the bag and you get some liquid going, and you're going to want to let a little bit out of the tubing to allow for the tubing to come through and all of the liquids, that there be no oxygen in the tubes and all the bubbles come out. So you'd want to run liquid through it and just let it pour out, which this is not doing, but let's pretend that it is. And then once you get that going and you make sure that all the air is out of the tubing, you go ahead and hang that up, and you'll put this right here. So then you will talk to the client, explain the procedure, just let them know that there's going to be a poke, they might see blood, that it might sting a little bit, and just kind of how it works once you put the tourniquet on and you're searching for a vein, that they're just going to be touching their arm. So you would then go ahead and put on your gloves, and this does not have to be sterile gloves, but get gloved up, and then you can take your tourniquet and apply it to the client's arm. Go ahead and tie it tight. Have them maybe squeeze the arm a little bit. Normally you would want to find a vein that's about 4 inches below the tourniquet, because the banana is not that big. I can't do that, but let's just say I did. I would feel around, I would find a vein that has about 1 inch to have the needle and catheter inserted into it. So once I find that, then I'm going to take my povidone iodine, and this is the part that can kind of look like blood. So go ahead and wipe that first, and then I will take an alcohol prep and I will do it a second time, kind of wiping away that color so I can still see the vein itself. Some people like to want to make sure that it dries fully because it can really sting if it doesn't. Some people like to take, a little piece of cotton and put it there, so in case there is blood coming out of the catheter, that's actually caught by the cotton pad itself. So then you go ahead and remove your needle. You want to make sure the bevel is face up, and then you're going to want to insert the needle at about a 15 to 30 degree angle when you go in. So go ahead and insert the needle. So poke. And then you're going to insert it about 1/8 of an inch more just to make sure that it's in the vein. And go ahead and advance the catheter on the needle. So at this point you'd want to take the tourniquet off, and you'd want to remove the needle And then after that, apply a little bit of pressure on the catheter, but not before because you can injure the vein and the person doing that. And this would go into the sharps container. At this point, you would attach the tubing and go ahead and open it up wide and let it go, adjust the flow, anything you might need to do with that. Check to see if there's any swelling at the site and make sure that there's a drip going. As long as there's no swelling at the site and it looks like it's actually in the vein and it's not coming out into the skin, then you would take your Tegaderm and you would apply it to the site. Oops, take that away. Go ahead and put that down. And then you might want to take and loop your, I'm going to tape this a second time to make it more secure. And then I would loop this around the client's arm so they can't get bungled up in it as easily. So we're going to tape that down on either side. So just imagine that this was their hand and it goes right through here. So once that's all good, then you would go ahead and remove your gloves. And you want to make sure that everything's running. Go ahead and do a second check. Take everything away. And when you get back to your charting, back to your chart at the end, you would go ahead and you would write down date, time, lot number, expiration, the site in which you put it, left or right, and where on the hand or arm, and then also the amount and the type. All right, thank you.